Alright, this truck, I took the cat out because I thought it was plugged. So I just deleted the cat, and of course now the check engine light's on. So what you're going to do is, for an S10 and most GMs that I've ran into, this is the part number. These are spark plug non-foulers. And these are the same thread as the O2 sensors. So you take your O2 sensor out and you basically thread it into here and thread it back in, and it has a small hole, so not as much of the exhaust gases get to it, so it tricks it into thinking that it's cleaner than what the first O2 sensor reads. And it keeps your check engine light off. So I've seen success with just putting one of these in, and I've seen people, and I've had to put them both in to space it up even further. And the O2 sensor usually won't fit in here, so you have to drill this out. So the first one I usually just take and drill straight through so it doesn't have the small hole anymore, and just screw the O2 sensor into this, and then screw this into this one, and screw this one into the cat, or where the cat used to be, or the hollowed out cat, or whatever you got. So we'll get this lifted up and show you. You can't see it because it's on the other side, but the O2 sensor is right, oh, it's right here. So there she is. You want to take this O2 sensor out. First you got to unclip the wiring connector so you can spin it. So I'll do that, I'll get this out, and then I'll show you how to put it in those non-fouler dealies. Alright, so you can see that because of where the threads stop and that thing necks down, the O2 sensor won't quite make it to the threads. So that's why on this one you just drill it straight through as big as you can, so this has room. I've seen people take this little shield off the O2 sensor to fit it in there, but I don't want to do that because I don't want to affect how this thing works. So the biggest drill bit I have that'll fit in this drill is a 15/32, so we'll start with that, and then from there I'll have to get the 1/2" drill or get the carbide bit on the die grinder and wallow it out in there. Also, I just reminded myself that I have a drill press, so we'll go ahead and use this. So now you have this. In the past I've found that this still isn't big enough, so you have to go through and start drilling it out bigger. As big as you can. It gets pretty thin, but we'll see how close this is. Yep, still hitting. So we need to go bigger. So I didn't have any drill bits bigger than 1/2", so I had to use this thing. Just go in there and go around it, make it bigger until this thing fit in that part of it, which it does from the inside, but from the outside it doesn't. It does from the inside, but from the outside it doesn't. I don't know if I mentioned this, but it does from the so I might do that a little more, or I might just screw it in and be done with it. So there you go. Fits tight, but it fits. Now all you do is you just screw this one into this one, like so, and you screw that back into either the section of pipe you welded in place of the cat or your hollowed out cat, if you live in an area where they actually do a visual inspection to make sure you have a cat, you're going to want to keep your cat, open it up, hollow it out, and weld it back together. If it's just where they just plug into the computer like here and make sure you have no codes, then this will work to keep the code from coming up and keep your engine light off. It spaces it up and away from the gases, and I've never had this not work. I've done it on 2 other S10s. My boss did it on his S10, so maybe it's just an S10 thing, but I've heard of it working on other vehicles, and it's the same principle, so I don't know why it would be any different. So we'll put this back in, reset our engine light, and we should be good to go. And there we are, all back installed, wiring plugged back in, and this will solve all the problems. Now we can pass emissions, buy tabs, sell it, they can register it, blah blah blah. If this doesn't work, more than likely this O2 sensor is just bad. You need to replace it while you're doing this. But this truck never had an issue with the check engine light for the O2 sensor until I took the cat out. So, this will solve all my problems. Hooray.